Welcome to our live stream of high school sports. Please note that this broadcast is produced by an independent team of sports enthusiasts, and the views, opinions, and commentary expressed are solely those of the commentators and not representative of the schools, teams, or athletes featured. While we strive for accuracy, occasional errors or misstatements may occur. This stream is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. Thank you for joining us and enjoy the show.
Yeah, come on, let's go. Hey, you ain't never seen nothing like this. Ain't no telling how it might get. It's the hypest right here. High school sports at its finest. So many highlights, you have to rewind it. Hey, Stream City, let me just remind you. The heart of a lion, a team full of fighters. So many stars on the field, it'll blind you. They're giving everything they got till the time's up. Yeah, legends in the making. History is made. We just getting started. You ain't seen a thing. YSN, gotta know the name. They gon' bring the flames. They gon' do their thing. Take it to another level, don't hold back. High school, got a passion and we show that. Got the drive and you know they got the heart. Number one spot for your high school sports. Let's go for the win. Hey.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into a wonderful Wednesday afternoon on YSN Live. I'm Anthony Hartwig, and as always on Wednesdays, we're joined by the guru, the running master, the expletive that you want to say right next to it, whatever you want to call him, Rick Seipert, the head coach of the Boardman Spartans, and also the star of Running Wednesdays on YSN.
How's it going,
Rick, thanks
Coach?
for coming on.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank
for
you very
coming on.
much. How's it going today?
We're doing good. Now, people are preparing for districts today, which means they want to stay locked in. We reached out to several athletes, and they all came back with the same thing. It's districts day. They didn't want to come on. They wanted to stay locked into their race, which we completely respect. So, unfortunately, we might have to record one of these players and maybe have two interviews next week, one recorded, one live if we can. We'll have to jumble that. But today live, it just wasn't going to be a good time for these athletes that we reached out to.
Yeah, I mean, it's I know the challenges that are coming up here over the next couple of days for all of our student athletes. Districts this year, they're all really good. So I completely get it if you want to be locked in. It's one of those scenarios where, you perform or you end up going home. And it's one of those years, too, where the prelims are going to take a lot out of these kids. So, like I said, they want to be locked in and that stuff. That's good to go. That's good to go on my end. And that's in that case there.
You know, this is something that we didn't run into last year. Do you think districts are a little bit more pressure this year than maybe last year was? Maybe a little bit more on the line, more talent that's widespread, more reasons for these kids to feel like this is really, really go time now?
Well, I mean, if you look at times this year compared to years past, sometimes that may have gotten you to like the district final may not make it this year. So it's just one of those deals where it's very challenging. For example, the 400 in the D1 district for the girls, like a very good time is around 60 seconds. And that most years that's going to get you to the regional. There's going to be girls that are going to be running sub 60 that don't even get out of it. So, I mean, it's just one of those years where it is very fast. It's going to be highly competitive. And again, kids just want to be locked in, and that's totally understandable. We have a lot of opportunities to see if some of our kids shine. And again, if they're in those top 8 or top 4 on Friday, we're really going to see good opportunities for these kids to get down to Columbus. And going to Columbus is a big deal this year, too, because Jesse Owens Stadium just got a complete facelift. They put millions of dollars into that place. So I'm really excited to see how fast that meet is going to be on June 6th and 7th this year.
And there's a lot of running to happen before we get there. Of course, we have districts first, then regionals, then state. But before we talk about all that fun stuff, we did have conference meets kind of finished up over the weekend. Let's recap the conferences and some of the big stars that you saw win our YSN conferences.
Yeah, some of our YSN conferences, again, our kids put on a show out there. I was really impressed with the hard work that the Salem team did. Again, we talk about them often, and those two teams did really good jobs over there. Garfield, they put on a good show for their conference. Their boys and their girls both won. McDonald, they put on a show once again, and so did the Mineral Ridge girls team. That was they put up 172 points, and they ended up tying with McDonald there. I mean, that's a lot of points in the conference meet for two teams to obtain simultaneously there. But again, McDonald and Mineral Ridge both have two of the top programs in the area this year, and they have a lot of standout athletes as well. Some of our crafty veterans, like with Ava Hewlett there, and then the Molnar girl, freshman in there from Ann Sheasley, two freshmen that are doing really good things in that conference. So, I mean, both of those schools are going to be well represented when we go forward from here. But again, it's been a really good, fun, exciting time. We're finally getting the good weather that we've been craving the entire school year or the entire season, and now kids are really starting to shine out there.
And I don't know if you saw what went down in the MVAC track meet, but a little bit of wildness, because the Rams ended the day thinking they didn't win the conference. There was a scoring error. They came back and said, "No, you are co-champions." That was one of those emotional roller coasters. How often do you see that happen? Is that something that is like wild that doesn't happen too often, or is that something that you always can expect to maybe happen every time you go out?
I mean, to have it that close and have scoring errors, I mean, I know they really, like a lot of the timing crews that are out there, they take their time before they publish any results. I know, like with the Spartan Invitational, we are 100% sure that we are publishing accurate results so that like roller coaster moment doesn't happen to kids. And it's a big deal too, because if those errors, like, hey, like for example, if you're not in the top 4, you're not going to state in some of those cases. And then, oh, wait a minute, you are actually going to state. And then somebody else gets the axe because of that. I mean, you don't want to put kids through those moments, So like, you really have to make sure that you're accurate with anything that you're publishing out there for the public to see. I have seen errors go through. That's why there's always like a 30-minute appeal period for a lot of the different sports, because again, errors do happen. We're all human. Nobody's perfect. People make mistakes. So again, I personally have not been part of that with our program, but I do know that these things happen.
We talked about Ava Hewlett. She won the meet MVP. She racked up 40 points.
That's 4 wins. That is 4 wins all by yourself. And again, that's impressive. At any time you're scoring 40 points in a big meet, you've done something pretty special. And I've seen that at the conference level, the county level. I've actually even seen that happen at the state meet before. And so essentially a single kid is able to win the state championship all by themselves. So, I mean,
she broke the meet record in the 100 and 300 hurdles. She has her personal best in the 300. That's what I call bringing out your best for a big meet. Like, hey, we've talked a lot about on this segment about how you're not always going to have your PR, but when you have them in the big moments, when you really, really need them, that's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, you always count on like your star athletes to make the moves for the team in those meets. We always put it on like the face of the program to make sure that we're performing when it's down to a meet that we really want to win. And clearly Mineral Ridge did just that with her doing 4 events plus 2 career a meet record and a career PR. I mean, like I said, this is the time of the year when you're going to start seeing those things happen, and people are really going to start tapering their workouts off, and you're going to see those times drop more and more. Maybe not this week, because once again, we're getting blessed with rain and cold weather, but of course, nothing's ever going to be perfect, but you still have to get out there and compete. We're all from Northeast Ohio. Typically the people from around here are a little bit tougher when those meets go down. So I'm really excited to see what happens with them moving forward here this week.
Another thing that happened with Mineral Ridge that I want to talk to you about, because I'm sure you've been put in this situation before as well. Delaney Dota and Addie O'Brien both had to be late substitutions to the 4x400 meter relay and the 4x200 meter relay because of some illness on the team. They had to kind of
Mhm.
shuffle their lineup last minute. I'm sure you've had to do that at least once or twice in your career. What's that like as a coach? And then how cool is it to see runners kind of step up in that situation?
It actually happened to us in our 4x4 in our conference meet as well. One of my juniors, after the 200, she just said, "I don't have it anymore today. My legs are killing me. You got to sub me out." So those things do happen quite frequently, especially with sprint relays. You're allowed to put you're allowed to put up to like 8 in some meets on the relay card, so you can pick and choose from those 8 athletes to run in those relays. So in a situation like that, you just have to trust that your training's good. You have to trust that those athletes are ready to go, and you have to trust the fact that everybody's going to pick each other up in those moments. So to substitute 2 girls in later on, it's more of a cultural thing. So tip of the hat to the Mineral Ridge coaching staff to have all those girls ready to go. I mean, that's an impressive feat to put subs in there and still run pretty good times and get it done for like what you need to do to tie in your conference meet. If one little thing goes wrong, that relays out, you don't, and then you're the runners up instead of being the conference champions.
And then another player that was added was Melina Wilson, who hadn't jumped in nearly a month. She moved into the 4x200 long jump, managed to have a PR 14.65. That's like, you haven't done it in a month, and then you go and you end up having a personal record. Like that's that. I mean, it's performances like that win a conference. Like when your back's against the wall, things aren't going necessarily the way you saw them. Your lineup isn't exactly the way that you need it to be, but players just kind of step up to win a conference. That's a really cool moment for Mineral Ridge.
Absolutely.
So congratulations to those girls all the way around.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a special moment for somebody. You fill in for your team, and in those moments, sometimes you just have to do things that need to get done for the betterment of the team. So jumping into a long jump, jumping into the 4x2. I mean, those are moments that those kids are going to remember, and nobody takes away championships. So, I mean, they can talk about that moving forward throughout the rest of their careers there.
Now, here's a team that we haven't talked about a lot. The won the EOAC, I believe, on the boys' side, Columbiana, putting together kind of an under-the-radar boys' track season. What have you seen from the Clippers so far, in the numbers you've been able to gather this year?
They're sneaky good too. I mean, they're balanced everywhere you look. They've been well represented with the 4x1 in the past years here too. They made state maybe last year or the year before. So, I mean, if you're putting out results and like that, I mean, you can just tell that team's going to be doing good things here in the future. They, again, balance is a big thing. That's tip of the hat to the coaching staff once again, because some schools, they can put it out in 1 or 2 events, but and then end up having those championships, you kind of got to score in everything as much as you possibly can. So you may have the best sprint program around, but if you can't score distance points, you're not going to do as well in those big meets as you think you're going to because of that. So, I mean, it's just one of those deals where, again, with conference meets, district meets, county meets, again, you have to be balanced and you have to be able to keep putting points up on the board. Again, if schools are regular to the table at like the big moments, again, you have to find ways to chip them away and get the points where you can get points in those meets.
The MVP of the EOAC was Danny Milborn from United. He was first in the 100, first in the 200, second in the 400, and first in the 400 relay. So, shocker there. I mean, we know how fast Danny is. So,
yeah,
there's no shocker that he got the EOAC MVP.
Yeah, I mean, fast is fast. Danny's the last time I checked, he had like a 10:59 for his PR this season. I mean, he's doing wonderful things down there in United, and that's just been a household name for us on Wednesdays. Every time we talk about United, his name always comes up. And again, he's performing at a high level once again this year. I really see him getting down to Columbus once again. And again, that newly renovated track, he's going to be flying down there as well.
The girls MVP in the EOAC meet was Camille Jeffries from Columbiana. She got first in the 200, first in the 300 hurdles, second in the 200, second in the 400 relays. So she put together a great meet for the girls' side. Talking about Columbiana boys, Columbiana girls also not to be overlooked.
Absolutely. I mean, again, that 300 hurdles is one of the worst races out there. So if you're able to put together a good race there and then come back and help your team and score high or win other events as well, you're doing good things. So she, again, that's an impressive task for them. And again, a nice MVP there, Milburn. I mean, they're doing good things in that conference.
So the final team standings for the EOAC on the boys' side was Columbiana with 152. United East Palestine had a good meet, finished third. Then Lisbon, then Southern, then Wellsville, then Valley Christian, and then Latonia, rounding out the EOAC meet. Some big number. I think Devin Brode from Columbiana had a really good 110 hurdles, 17.65. To win that one. That was one of the big reasons why Columbiana won the EOAC. When you're able to we've talked about hurdles being tough. That's a big number for 110.
Oh, absolutely. That's a nice meet. That's a nice race for him. And again, you're the conference champion. Nobody can take anything away from that. I mean, again, you look at some of the specialty events, and if you have a good staff putting things together and you're able to score there, I mean, hurdlers, pole vaulters, high jumpers, long jumpers, throwers. I mean, those are things that finding good coaches for those events it's difficult to do. So when you do kind of string something together and get something going, again, your team can become unstoppable in those situations.
The NAC, which is a conference that has more and more YSN teams as we go along. Maplewood, one of the newest members of YSN, won the girls' side of the NAC with 147 points. And they had, 1, 2, 3, 4 NAC champions. They had Morgan Himes, who won the 200 and 300 hurdles of the NAC. Terry Shipman won the 400s. Reagan Mon won the 800. And then you had 16 and 3200s run by Mackenzie Edgar from Maplewood, as well as the 100 hurdles from Harley Argardi. So Maplewood is also a team that we haven't been able to bring up too much yet, but they are known for a really strong track and field and cross country.
Absolutely. I was going to say, you can't talk about distance running without bringing up Maplewood. They have a very rich history of just distance runners, cross-country runners. And again, they're Kaylee Richards, who's now at YSU, again, one of the best ones that we've had from the area here. So, I mean, again, Maplewood is a household name with distance, not just in the area, but throughout the entire state. The Donaldson family's been there, the Sparks family. I mean, there's just been a plethora of very good athletes that have come out of Maplewood. And again, small but mighty for the school, but again, they are very well known throughout the state. I know their 4x8 is going to be a very tough one. I'm really interested to see how they perform as the next couple of weeks go on here.
And then on the boys' side, Pymatuning Valley won for the second straight year, 143 points. Maplewood made it close. It was 131 for Maplewood, 143 for Pymatuning Valley. These are the Maplewood boys winners. Andrew Donaldson won the 800 and 1600. Ethan Novinsky won the 4x8 with Tyler McPeak, Brody Orr, and Trevor Shipman as a part of that relay. They also had Riley Cipher placed in the discus for Maplewood. I'm trying to pull up the total results to get the Pymatuning Valley runners that also won. But Pymatuning Valley boys, really good.
Was good. The Pie Valley boys had a really strong season. They have a lot of really good sprint events, really, really strong in the field events as well. Again, they had a nice football season this year, and usually when your football team does very good things, so does your track team. So no surprise that they turned out a very good meet. Like I said, their sprints were really good. Their field was strong, jumps, vaults, all those things were. They kind of, again, another one of those teams that just had enough balance to get it done in that conference. Again, there were other good performers that Bosch from Chalker, I've had my eye on him all year. He's been doing really good things there. So he was getting a lot of the sprint points. So for Pie Valley to come back and overcome those things and to win a conference championship is a really good moment for them there.
Pie Valley kind of dominated the field events, like you said, but they also had really good hurdles. They won the 110 hurdles, and they also had the champion in the 300 hurdles. They were both Will Badger from Pymatuning Valley,
Yep.
which is funny because he's going up against Badger in the next, so he's got the last name to kind of do that. But he had a really good meet when it comes to both of the hurdles, 110 and 300, to kind of push that along. I think Pymatuning Valley kind of needed those. You saw how close the final standings were. The field events weren't going to cut it. They weren't going to win the NAC with the meet that Maplewood put together. So to go and get those hurdles probably put a lot of points on the board that Pymatuning Valley really needed.
Oh yeah, if you get first place, it's 10 points for your team. So, I mean, 20. If you're winning both hurdle events, that's 20 that you might not have had.
You take away those 20, and Maplewood wins 131 to 127. So
yeah, exactly. And crazy things can happen, especially in the hurdles. You hit one and fall. I mean, I've seen all kinds of wild stuff happen because of hurdle events. You hit one and it drags into another lane, and it impedes another runner. That's a disqualification. So all kinds of insane stuff can happen in those hurdle events. Whenever you're getting yourself off the ground or you're reducing that ground contact time, anything can happen. And again, to win both of those and for like a high stakes meet, like a conference championship, again, that says that they're doing something pretty good there in PV.
All right, so let's just recap the conference winners, and you can hold my hand through this to make sure I have all these teams right. The NAC, we just talked about. Pymatuning Valley won the boys. Maplewood won the girls. MVAC, Garfield, right? And the boys?
Yeah, both of them.
And then tie with McDonald and McDonald and Ridge and the girls on the Scarlet tier.
Yep.
What about the boys side of the Scarlet tier? Was that Middle Ridge too?
That was McDonald, I believe. Oh, no, it was Middle Ridge.
Okay.
Yeah, my
so
notes.
Then we go into the
NE. I lost my notes on that one.
Right. The NE8 was
the NE8.
Gerard on the girls, right?
Gerard was
the South Range.
And then South Range, yeah.
South Range on the boys.
Yes.
AAC, your conference.
Austintown Fitch boys edged out our boys by 2, and then our girls we won by 3.
Way to step up, coach.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's one of those deals too. I'm meticulous about scoring things. Just like I like to know, kind of have an idea what's going to happen before it happens. Before the meet happened, I scored it out, and I scored it to. I'm like, we're going to get about 121 points today, and we ended up with 120 for the 3-point win there. But yeah, it was pretty cool when you put the puzzle together and everything comes together in that moment. So, yeah, the girls had a nice night.
The EOAC was Columbiana's on the boys' side, and on the girls as well. I'm trying to see if EBC, Salem on the girls, right?
Yes, Salem's girls were. Salem's girls. Oh my goodness, I don't remember that one either. I had all my conference stuff on the notes from last week, so I have different notes.
Yeah, some of these conferences were done when we were talking last week. So the ones this weekend we have notes on. The ones that happened a little bit earlier, we're trying to recall. I don't think we've missed any of the YSN conferences.
No, I think we got.
Yeah, so we're good. I'm not going to make you go up to Ashtabula County and try to, because we only have a couple of teams in the CVC. So.
Right.
And that's a huge conference.
Yeah, there's a whole yeah.
Unless I don't want to underestimate your knowledge. If you know who won the CVC.
No, I'm sorry. I did not follow that.
We're good. It's all good, Coach. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't underestimating you. You never want to underestimate Coach Seipert.
Yeah, I know that. I didn't want to misspeak on the Salem one because I know that the Marlington girls team was pretty strong there. I know they're going to be battling it out for that D2 district down in Salem this week. So I didn't want to misspeak. And sometimes, a team can win a district, but they can't win their conference, or vice versa. So like crazy stuff happens that way. Just when you add different cooks to the kitchen, if you would, different teams can carve you up. So like maybe we have the best, 400 runners in the conference, but we can't really score at a district meet with those same athletes. Like different events can be stronger or weaker than one another as the different meets are presented to you.
So let's transition into those districts. This is when the rubber meets the road. This is when I like to say great is separated from good.
Yes.
We have today and tomorrow. The districts are kind of split. Let's talk about today's districts first. Who's running today, and what are some things we expect?
Yeah, 1 and 3 are running today, and it looks like we're going to get the meets in without any major issues. There may be a little delay early on for the districts that start earlier, but I think everybody's going to be fine in the D1 and the D3 meets today. So Springfield's going to be getting most of our local schools at the D3 level. And again, you're going to be seeing big shows out of McDonald and Mineral Ridge over there. I really like both McDonald teams to be sitting in the driver's seat for those meets just based on their overall strength. But I would not count out Mineral Ridge with one of the better hurdlers in the entire state on their team. Ava will be contested there. Samer Rotuno from Mooney. I'm really interested to see the two of them go head to head right now. I think Sammy may have like a little bit of an edge on the season PR right now, but I think the two of them are going to put on a show when it comes right down to it. Again, McDonald's field events, I mean, they are one of the best throwing schools in the area. And if you're going to put your kids like Shiley and Bundy and then Zajac up there, I mean, that's like almost 18 points just from one event for the McDonald girls if the two of them can shine. So again, you're going to be seeing a lot of good marks out of the Springfield meet. D1 district over at Fitch today. I'm going to go to the plate and say that I think we have the hardest district in the entire state this year. Every single event is going to have to fly. It's almost like it's a mini regional week for us. They blew up one of the bigger districts towards Cleveland, and they sent us Twinsburg, Stowe, Hudson, Chardon, and NDCL, and all 5 of them are just like adding top tier programs into your district. So we added in 5 really strong schools to go with all the strong schools that we already had. So it's, like I said, it's going to be a tough week for us. But again, this is where you have your opportunity to shine. If you can do it, you're going to do it. If you can't, maybe next year, or you call it a career if that's the end of it for you.
Oh, good. Wonderful. Thanks for sending us those districts. Those were really kind.
Hey, it's all good. And again, but if you want to go dancing, if you want to go to the dance, you have to beat those kids anyway. So you might as well just figure it out. And again, we have a lot of crafty veterans out there, and we have some newcomers. So, I mean, to get to the next level, you have to see what's out there. I mean, sometimes things, I've always heard like sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. And it's one of those opportunities. What did you learn from this experience? Did you learn how to race better? Did you learn you need to be stronger? Did you learn you need to hydrate better, sleep better, eat better? I mean, there's so many different things that go into the sport, and it's an opportunity for these kids to grow in some way when they hit the track today.
What did the Beastie Boys say, Coach? You got to fight for your right to party, right? So if you want to party in state, you got to fight for it. You got to fight through the toughness of districts. What about tomorrow, Coach? What are we looking forward to tomorrow?
There's a couple of D2s going on tomorrow. Salem's going to be running, and Lakeview also has a district as well. Again, those guys are like Thursday, Saturdays. Salem's, again, a very strong distance district. So you have Marlington, CVCA, the Salem's crew, Field Local, very strong program as well on the boys' side for that Salem district. And then at Lakeview, Woodridge and Lakeview are some of the favorites in my eyes. I really think that the Woodridge boys and girls programs are going to be solid over at Lakeview. And again, we'll see how this all comes together for the rest of the week here.
Looking at Storm Tracker 21 weather tonight, Coach. You're gonna get wet. It's gonna rain. It's gonna rain all night. But like you said, you might be able to dodge the thunderstorms. Thunderstorms are supposed to roll in at about 3 or 4 and then roll out by 5 or 6.
Yes.
So that being said, it's still gonna be wet. Still gonna be kind of cold. Is that ideal weather to see some upsets? You think?
Crazy things happen when it gets wet out there and cold. Hopefully, no injuries occur. But some people have that in the back of the mind, so they may not go as hard as they possibly can. Batons get slippery, implements get slippery. I mean, all kinds of crazy stuff happens. You'll end up seeing who trained through that kind of stuff sometimes, and sometimes you see, who hasn't. So crazy things have happened. I've actually seen one of my favorite track stories ever. We were getting ready at the regional 3 seasons ago, and one of our 300 hurdlers, his name was Logan Thompson. He's running at the University of Akron right now. He walked up to me at the meet, and the PG version of what he said was, if it's raining, I'm going to win this thing and I'm going to break the school record. And I just smiled and said, okay. I mean, it's 45 degrees right now. It's going to be raining all over us. And we went up in the stands when the races started happening. We were just getting the bird's eye view of it. And by the second hurdle, I was actually laughing. And everybody in the staff was like, what are you laughing about? I'm like, this crazy guy just said he's going to break the school record and win this race if it starts raining. And sure enough, it was raining. And actually, I'll send a picture to you after we get off the air here, but it's probably one of my favorite track pictures I have. He broke the school record. He saw the clock and he kind of went off at the finish line there. He ran a 37 in less than ideal conditions. So yes, to answer your question, it is possible to run fast in bad conditions as long as you're trained to do such a thing.
And then, of course, when you look at today, it's all about making it to the finals, right? So are there strategic ways to do today where maybe like it is rainy, it's going to be in bad conditions, I just have to push myself enough to qualify, then I can take care of things in the finals? Or is it this, do you go hard for today, not taking anything for granted?
Well, if you look at the field and the seed times with what the field is, you might be able to do that in some events. But in most cases, though, kids are going to go for it. If you're running 3 or 4 events today, or you're also going to have to run 3 or 4 events on Friday, possibly. So there is a degree of let's conserve some energy. But again, like I said, our district is so hard, it might take near your PR to even get to the next level. So you kind of just have to observe what the seed times are. Like in the distance events, you can do that because typically you'll run a couple of heats and the last 3 people are the only ones that get eliminated in the prelims on a day like today. But still, even then, there's going to be kids that are in those back positions that are going to be fighting to get it to the front. So you don't want to conserve too much and get yourself caught. And crazy things can happen too. I've seen a number 1 seed in the mile take it easy in the prelims and they get tripped up and they get eliminated because that's just the way they raced it that day. So again, I always tell kids to try to make sure you're in a comfortable position, and as something happens, you can live with yourself with the way you perform that day.
Well, we want to wish every athlete that's running in districts today and tomorrow the best of luck. We can't wait to see how many of you guys make it to the next round. Definitely, we'll talk about the recap of districts next week, and we'll preview regionals as they come up. Coach, we want to thank you for coming up. It's a good time to be a Spartan, no matter whether you're running, whether you're playing baseball, softball, tennis, doesn't matter. It's a good time to be a Boardman Spartan right now.
Yeah, it's been a really special spring. Baseball wrapped up the AAC championship last night. Softball did last Friday. Tennis did, and so did the girls track team. So we had a nice spring here within Spartan land. And
boys got dang close. They're right there for the conference.
2 points away. Yes, they were.
Like we said, good time to be a Spartan, and it's hopefully going to get even better when we come back next week. Hopefully we'll have maybe a softball team in regionals. They're going for a district championship tomorrow. Yes, baseball will be in districts hopefully by then, and we'll see where the chips lie, Coach.
All right. Thank you so much, Coach. Have a good one. I will talk to you guys soon.
You got it. Coach Rick Seipert from Boardman, always coming on, making sure we are in tip-top shape when it comes to talking about running and track in the area, track and field. We want to thank him for his time every week. Districts are today and tomorrow. Divisions 1 and 3 today, Divisions 2 tomorrow. And then when we come back next week, we will obviously recap all the districts fun, and then we'll preview regionals. And that's when it's really, really there. You are one step away from getting to Jesse Owens Stadium. So going to be fun next week, going to be fun this week. Can't wait to see what happens there. What's happening next, though, is we're bringing on a guy. Now, here's a guy that just epitomizes what YSN's about. He's here every week with a smile. He does the hard work. He puts in the time. And he rolls with authority. Mr. Scotty Minter. Scotty doesn't. I can't say the rest of the lyrics to that song because it's really bad. But Scotty,
Yeah.
how good? You do know, right?
Yeah. We usually I'm the one that, is saying stuff that
I know.
could
I
get us
almost-
in hot water.
I gotta be honest. I almost slipped. I had to catch myself because I was like, I can't say the rest of that song. But Scotty, you know, right?
I do know.
You do know. Okay,
don't
good.
know. Years ago, I did not know.
Years ago, Scotty
Back
didn't.
when- But now I do know.
Oh, jeez. If you don't get that reference, I'm sorry. You have to go watch the movie and then see it. And then
Yeah, and
Oh,
that
what, is
movie
New Guy, right? That's from New Guy.
was- yeah, that was Euro Trip. I
Yeah.
do believe.
Euro Trip. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Euro Trip. I get some of those late '90s, early 2000s like raunchy comedies. I get them all mixed up. American Pie, Euro Trip, Road Trip, Rat Race. They're all kind of blurred to me. But
Yeah.
you're right. It's from Euro Trip. So if you haven't seen Euro Trip, go watch it. You'll know why Scotty doesn't know.
Yeah,
Or you can you can look up the song on Apple Music. But viewer and listener discretion is advised. It's not for the faint of heart. Scotty, that being said, welcome in, buddy. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Anthony. And I just wanted to say I had some stuff I thought would be good, and I kind of thought about this for a while, and I wanted to do kind of like a pivot because I thought of even better.
Fans out there are laughing. But if sorry. I can't hear the word pivot without thinking about Ross and Chandler trying to get a couch up the stairs. Pivot! Pivot! Sorry. Keep going, Scotty. I didn't mean to break your train of thought. You broke mine, so.
It's all good. But just trying to think of, better and more engaging topics and kind of topics we haven't tackled on the show before. And I've been thinking a lot, Anthony, about this, and I wanted your thoughts on this as well. What do you think as we go forward in the next few months? Now we have the baseball and the baseball and softball all-star games on the horizon and stuff like that. But in the summer, in summer sports, what do you most look forward to? We've talked about the All-Star games and stuff, but just as far as these, the pitching matchups in baseball and softball, and we talked about parity last week, but what's one thing that like you can't see with your eyes, but you really look for in athletes in these sports now? Is it determination? Is it hustle? Is it like just as far as being like tenacious or having that drive to succeed? What do you think it is?
Scotty, my honest opinion, and one of the things that I really look forward in kids today, because I think we talked a little bit about it last week, and we talked about what makes being a student athlete a little bit harder now than ever before. I think one of the things I really like seeing from especially baseball and softball players, because it is a sport where you're going to fail more than you succeed, even if you're really, really good, how you handle failure, how you handle things not going your way in a young age is something that I look for a lot. How if a freshman is on the mound and he's having a really good season, but one game he or she gets kind of lit up and gives up 7 or 8 runs, a couple home runs or whatever. What do they do in the next outing? What do they do at the plate? Because every hitter, every pitcher in high school is also a hitter. What do they do at the plate? What are they doing in the dugout to get their team involved? Can they still give their team a chance to win even if they're not pitching their best? Things like that. You can reverse that to hitting or if someone makes an error in the field, whatever it may be. How do you respond to that adversity? I think that's becoming harder now because I coach in the summer. 15-year-olds, and I can tell you every year they're getting harder and harder on themselves. The self-talk is something I work on very much with my players. How are you treating yourself when you make a mistake is more important than how I treat you, how the coaches treat, like how you treat yourself is. If you're not treating yourself well, I could give you all the compliments in the world and your teammates could gas you up as much as they want. But if you're not treating yourself right, then you're never going to be confident. So I think that's getting a little bit worse and worse every year when you come to young people, how much they kind of look down on themselves a little bit and how hard it is to talk themselves up. So that's I think the thing I look forward the most. How does a kid handle adversity, not just adversity off the field, because that's universal, but how do they handle the failure that comes with this sport? I think that's the thing I look for most, and that's the thing I am impressed with most when you're talking about things that go past the numbers, things that go past the stats and the ability. I'm really impressed with a kid that can really handle when things don't go right, because this sport, there's going to be a time, even if you're putting up ridiculous numbers, there's going to be a day, a team, a game that doesn't go your way. How can you handle it? That's what I look forward to the most, and seeing how kids can do it.
Uh, yeah, I think those are all really because it, like you said, and we talked about it before, being such a game of failure. It's not always about when you do fail, obviously you want to recover from that, but it's about how long do you keep it in your mind, and are you able to flush it out quickly? I think that's more what it's about, because even the best of the best, best college or pro athletes, a lot of times you're still gonna have times where it's just not working, and you have to kind of just flush it, or there could be Anthony, and I think it's something that's maybe we don't think about sometimes, but just because a certain player or team, if they're doing one thing and that's like their strong point or strong suit and what makes them great, it doesn't mean necessarily if that's off, it's a wrap and it's all done. You could always affect the game in other ways too. So,
Scotty, what do you say? You want to go to the scoreboard, talk about some of the stuff that happened last night? We had district semifinals and we had some baseball regular seasons getting wrapped up.
yeah, that sounds awesome.
Let's do it. Scotty, you go to the YSN scoreboard on ysnlive.com/scores. What is it brought to you by?
Burnett Pool, spas, and hot tubs. We've got it all.
You know it. And they're gonna take Scotty's pipes and put them in the commercial one day. I promise you that. Let's start in the softball. These were tournament games. We'll start in PA with the WPIL semifinals. Beaver falls to Hampton 4-0. That was the 2 seed Hampton. Beaver was the 6. Beaver goes to the third place game. They have to win that third place game to go to the state tournament. So unlike what we do, we've talked about this before. Unlike how we do it here in Ohio, it is not one and done. And I mean, when you get to the state tournament, it is. But here in the WPIL, it is. You got to kind of finish in the top three. So if Beaver can win this third place game, they will still qualify for the PIAA tournament. So they're not done yet, even though they lost to Hampton. The final score there was 4-0. They're not done. They will play a third place game, but they have to win that to get into the state tournament. So we'll see what the Bobcats can pull off in that game. Time and place to be determined there in PA. Ursuline, they lost to Holy Name. Their season is over. 5-1. Holy Name gets the win over the Dang, I thought I was going to get through that. Over the Irish. So congratulations to Ursuline on a great season. Boardman gets the run rule win over Geneva 10-0. They are advancing to a district championship game. Scotty, who they'll play is a conference opponent that they've beaten twice this year. Howland gets the win over Highland 9-0. So Howland versus Boardman. Winner goes to regionals. Bragging rights on the line, Scotty. It's hard to beat a team 3 times. That's the old cliche in sports.
Yeah, and you could even beat a team more times than that, more times than 3, and then all it takes is that one time they match up again, and it could be completely different.
The thing that's interesting about this, Scotty, I think both teams are playing near their best softball right now. I mean, Boardman's looking really, really good. The run rule win over Canfield on Friday to secure the AAC. They got a win over Jefferson in a pickup regular season game on Monday. They beat Geneva 10-0. And then Howland, I was there last night doing the picture thing. Brooke Tater was on. She was pitching lights out. She hit a home run. Maddie Schmitz hit a home run. Powerful Howland offense. Dominant Boardman team right now this year. It's going down. And Howland already beat Canfield, who beat Boardman. So you could do that little switcheroo thing where, hey, we beat this team who beat this team, so we might have a shot. I'll tell you what, I was in that dugout, and Howland is fired up for this one. They feel like they have a really good chance to go and beat Boardman. They'll have to do it tomorrow at Hubbard. That time might be they might adjust it because there's a game scheduled to be at Hubbard tonight as well. It does not look good for tonight's weather. So they might move it to a doubleheader tomorrow at Hubbard. I don't know what the game plan is there with the host that hosts 2 district games. If they have to push it to the next day. I don't know if they'd push Boardman to Friday and then play the Division 5 game that's there tomorrow, or if they try to do a 4 and 6 o'clock doubleheader. There are no lights in Hubbard, so that's why it's you have to kind of manage that as you will. So we'll see what happens. But as of now, Boardman and Howland scheduled to play tomorrow at Hubbard at 5 o'clock. We'll stay updated on that schedule. As we continue into the tournament, Hoban, beat Akron Ella. That was a upset. Hoban went on the road, beat Ella 12-5. So the seeds say upset. The score says not so much, Scotty.
Yeah. And anytime you're able to get an output of, get in the double digits, sometimes for the team that's on the losing end gives up that many runs, sometimes it's just, you'll have the ball just doesn't bounce your way, and there'll be instances where, you might get like some of those seeing eye singles, stuff like that, or whatever. But then sometimes, your opponent they're just on that day.
Hoban was the 8 seed. Ellett was the 5. So it's a little bit of an upset in seed-wise, but I think Hoban kind of realized, hey, come on, we own the city of Akron, and they proved that last night. Louisville moving on with a 7-0 win over Copley. So they're going to move on to the district championship. Canfield also going on to the district championship. The reigning state champs are still alive. They win over Westlake 9-2. Lakeview gets the easy Crestwood 11-1, the final score in that one. They're moving on. All these are district semifinals, so the winners are going to the district championship. West Geauga, this score won't tell you it was in extras, but it was extra innings. West Geauga beats Salem 10-3 with a big top of the eighth, and they beat Salem in their season 10-3. That was an upset seed wise, but barely. West Geauga was the 18th, Salem was the 17th. We go to Perry. They got the win 4-0 over rival Jefferson, so they get to move on to the district championship. Edgewood upset Streetsboro, 11 seed beating the 9 seed. 7-6 was the final score. I'm sorry, Streetsboro was the 8 seed, not 9. So 7-6. Edgewood gets the win. They're moving on. They'll play Perry, so it's an all YSN matchup in that district championship game. West Branch beats Ravenna 5-1 to advance to the district championship game. You have Columbiana holding off Tuslaw 11-8. They're moving on. And then last but not least, Beaver local season comes to an end as Indian Valley comes in and upsets the Beavers at the 5 seed beating a 4, 3-2, the final score. So a really good game local, just not able to get the Beavers to advance. So those are the district semifinals from last night. We want to wish the best of luck to all the teams that advanced to district championships, and then congratulate the ones that didn't on a very good season. Let's go into the numbers here for district championships, Scotty, because it's really fun to see that we've had. Let's see. I'm looking at the text from Mike. 16 softball district championships games with at least one YSN school. So we have the opportunity, if everything goes our way, to have at least 4, because 4 out of those 16 games are YSN versus YSN teams. So that means 12 are YSN alone. So we could have 16 YSN if I'm figuring that out mentally right. We could have 16 YSN teams advance to 12 YSN teams, right? Because 4 of them, one of them has to be eliminated. So 12 YSN teams could get to the regionals, as many as 12. But we're guaranteed at least 4, because 4 of those games are YSN versus YSN. So that's really fun. And then the WPIL baseball as well. Mohawk, the 11 seed, they got the win, and they beat the 6 seed. So they will have they beat the 6 and the 3 seed. So they're going to the semifinals as the 11 seed. So congratulations to Mohawk baseball, which takes us into the baseball scoreboard. These are all regular season games minus the Mohawk one. So Mohawk gets to win 3-1 over Elwood. They're going to the semifinals. We go to East Liverpool. They lost to Cambridge. Beaver local lost to Minerva. Hubbard shuts out Gerard in their last conference game. They're already conference champions, but they ended still with a bang. Canfield gets the sweep over South Rain 10-7. Pymatuning Valley beats Lakeside 12-3. Orange beats Willoughby South 8-7. Salem beats Western Reserve 12-4. We have West Branch. They were able to beat United 9-1. Garfield gets the win over Brookfield, doubling up the Warriors 8-4. LeBray gets the win over Southeast 4-1. We have Newton Falls. They beat Grand Valley 15-9. Crestview got the win over Jackson Milton 8-3. McDonald with a big win over Lowville 11-1. The final score there. Mooney stays hot. They beat up Spring 14-4. Perry, they beat St. John 4-1. We saw St. John score 18 against Jefferson on Monday, and then their offense held completely in check the next day. It tells you how up and down baseball can be right there. Louisville, they fall to Hoover by 1 run, 4-3. The final score there. Latonia beats Cheney 13-3. Fitch and Boardman play a really good baseball game. Boardman shores up the AAC championship with a 3-2 win in 9 innings against the Falcons. So congratulations to the Spartans. They sweep baseball and softball. They're AAC champs in both. Wyndham falls to Cardinal 5-1. And then last but not least on the baseball scoreboard last night, JFK beats up St. Thomas Aquinas 17-4. We have some lacrosse, girls lacrosse. Poland falls to Lake in the tournament 7-6, a close one. Poland barely edged out. And then Louisville falls to Beaumont 6-3. In boys lacrosse, Boardman fell to St. Ignatius 15-1. That was a 2 seed St. Ignatius, but a very good lacrosse team that Boardman fell to end their season. So that is your roundup of lacrosse and baseball and softball from yesterday. Scotty, what are some of your takeaways from all the scores we just digested?
I think that when you look at it, I think that a lot of you had several teams with great offensive outputs getting into double digits there, and I I think it's one of those things like we talked about um, on shows before. It's not so much like I like offense, but me and you, we like to see just good baseball, whether it's offense or it's pitching or whatever. You just want to see good games, high quality games. But I wanted to ask you, Anthony, if I could, really quick, because we've talked a lot about the parity and how like this might be the best time for baseball and softball as well. But how do you balance? Because we talked about how at YSM we kind of like embrace the underdog role, and me and you, we're kind of like underdogs. But you also went to a school, and you're still part of that, fan base and the alums that they're really good in a lot of different sports. So you have to appreciate the powerhouses too. Is it hard for you to balance that sometimes?
No, it's not. I mean, you'd think it might be, but like it's not, because it's really fun to root for the underdogs, but it's also almost if they take care of business, it's not stressful rooting for the powerhouses, because you're like, well, they got this under the bag. Let's go. You almost don't have to worry almost until you get to like regionals when you're talking about those powerhouses. Like, okay, let's just stroll through districts. We'll see, and we'll get the stress in regionals. But yeah, but then the underdogs, you're like, if they win, it's like, oh yeah, go get it, man. Go get that upset. We saw some upsets in softball on Monday, and it was like one of those things where you're like, let's go. These teams felt slept on. They felt like they weren't respected, and they went out and they proved that they are just as good as anybody else, and they get big wins on the road to upset people. That's really cool when you're proving people wrong, and that's a really cool storyline. But it's also fun to not have to do that, because you have this pedigree that we just win, So both ends are very cool. If you ask me which one I'd rather be on, of course I'd rather be on the powerhouse, because that means you're not losing. You are winning. Like, you have to go through some rough times before you're an underdog, right? So if I can choose not to go through those rough times and be the powerhouse, then I would absolutely do it.
Yeah, there's not really that anxiety that comes with
when people talk about underdogs, they only talk about the wins they have, but you forget like the dark times of underdog stories before the win, right? It's not fun being an underdog until you win that one game that gets you that underdog, title. Until then, it sucks being an underdog, because there's a reason you're underappreciated. There's a reason why people aren't expecting a lot from you, because you haven't done well before, right?
It's one of those things. It's like I didn't see the movie. I heard it was great, but I remember hearing about Kurt Warner.
Yes, American Underdog. It's a really good movie.
Yeah.
Zachary Levi does a fantastic job. He's usually the comic kind of witty, out there kind of guy. He did a really good job on kind of a straight dramatic role in that movie. I was really impressed. Don't get me started on movies though. DJ will facepalm If I go into breaking down Zachary Levi's performance in American Underdog, DJ's gonna come on here personally, cut me off, and end the show.
Yeah. We don't
No,
want that.
we don't want. No one's getting fired today, Scotty.
But yeah, no, we don't want that at all.
What a great show, though. I want to thank Rick Seipert for coming on. And when we're thanking people, we also want to thank our sponsors, Scotty, our sponsor of this show. We will start with Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. You know, they go the extra mile for you, that extra umph you want. You talk about being an underdog. You need that extra push to get there, right? You need that extra push to win. Well, Greenwood Chevrolet, maybe not the underdog because they're your favorite dealership in the area, but they still go the extra mile for you. They still get that extra push in to make sure your cares and your needs are met, whether it be service department, you want to get your car in tip-top shape for an upcoming summer vacation, or you're in the market for a new used vehicle. Guess what? The brand new Chevy Trax, it looks slick. It's on their lot. Go check it out. Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you. If you go down there, tell them YSN sent you. You know, it might not get you a super deal, but they'll be appreciative that their support brings in support of them. So Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown, they go the extra mile for you. We try to do the same here on this show every single day. And then, what do you use the car for, Scotty? You use the car for going places. And you know who wants to take you places? Toyota of Warren. Toyota of Warren, which is quickly becoming Toyota of Trumbull County, because they're expanding more and more every day. It feels like they're Game of Throning an empire up there in Trumbull County for Toyota of Warren. They're a great dealership. They take care of you. They're great people down there at Toyota of Warren. Tino, man, he's an OG. And he does a lot of good stuff for you. So Toyota of Warren wants to take you places. They are a 6-time award-winning dealership. So you know they're doing things the right way, man. The Toyota Tundra, guess what? You see the YSN Tundra out there, you know DJ's somewhere special. So look out for that when you're roaming across the area. Look out for Toyota of Warren because they want to take you places and they want to get you there. So they are a proud supporter of YSN Live, and we thank them for their sponsorship every single day. Scotty, you know who else is a great sponsor? You know who else brings some jazz and some zap and maybe some electricity to our lives?
I do.
You do. You think so? Well, I think it's time for a little bit of the spark. It's Joe Dickey Electric. What's your spark? Let's go. Scotty, you know the deal. You've been on this show a lot. What is your spark today, buddy?
Okay, so my spark today is I'm going to go with the fact that the WNBA and women's sports continues to get talked about more and more. I know you'll appreciate this, Anthony, too, but I think it's whether what side you're on as far as WNBA specifically, if you're Team Angel Reese, if you're Team Caitlin Clark, there was a lot of big things made about Caitlin Clark's foul on Angel Reese in the first game, but you know what? In a lot of ways, whatever side you're on, it's still good because it's getting talked about. And, there's a lot of people on one side or the other, and it makes for excitement. It's just good for the game. And you saw it coming a long time prior, Anthony. But there's a lot of newbies now, and it's just a lot of fun to watch. So that's my spark.
You want to have some fun, Scotty? Go on Twitter or X. I call it Twitter. Go on Twitter and check out the WNBA Twitter. Like not like their official Twitter page, but check out like WNBA fans on Twitter. It's wild out there. A little bit of toxicity, which is always fun to watch. Never fun to be a part of. But just sit back, read some tweets, and get your popcorn ready because it gets wild.
Yeah, I will.
People are
check
nuts,
that
though, man.
out.
When this Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese thing has gotten like enormously out of hand, and people are nutso about it, and it's fun. It's fun to just kind of sit back and watch the ludicrousy of WNBA Twitter right now. It's a reason why some people are turned off by it because the fans are a little bit woo, but at the same time, like you said, really fun to watch when you kind of block out all that mess and just watch WNBA basketball. Here's it: they don't travel, they run actual set plays, and they play defense. Shocker! I know. Basketball played the right way. It happens.
Yeah. There's a certain league where
I
it
know.
really doesn't. At least
There's a
in
certain
the
league where you can, in a world where you can take 5 steps before dribbling. Where I've never been a fan of the NBA, so I'm just taking some shade. If you like the NBA, that's your prerogative. It's fun to watch. I get it. It's more of an entertainment. I get it. I watch the playoffs. It's fun to watch the things some of these guys can do. One of the things I just hate about it is like these kids watch what Kevin Durant does and say, I can do that. No, you can't. You can't even come. And then I see them try it in a high school game and they look silly. And I'm like, you can't. You're not that guy. You're not going to hit like a step back 3 with a guy in your face like it's nothing. Like, no. Pass the ball.
Pass the ball, dog.
Pass the ball, Doug. Right, man. So my spark today, Scotty, is going to go out to one of my dudes. I got to meet him this spring in Atlanta. I watched him last year with amazement, and I got to meet him this year in Atlanta because he's on the Georgia Tech baseball team, and I went down there on campus, and they were home at the same time that the softball team was. So I moseyed on over to one of their games that happened before the softball game, and I got to meet this guy, and he's extremely talented. I think he's well on his way to becoming NCAA Player of the Year one year. Sophomore Drew Burris just got named ACC Player of the Week this week with an amazing series to go at Duke and win the ACC regular season championship, get the 1 seed in the tournament. But Drew Burris, man, when you talk about guys that are super talented and high character guys, he's right on the top of that list. He's just a dog. If you haven't watched him play baseball, you got to do it. He's got a really good signature stance. I don't have a bat with me. I've had to use this little pin bat, right? But most guys are sitting there like this, bat, but he kind of like dips it down before he swings. So he's got like this like dip that makes it like everyone seems to have like some baseball players have like a signature stance or load. And Drew Burris has one that, like, as soon as you see it, if you put a silhouette, it's like, oh, I know that's Drew Burris. That's him right there because he kind of puts his bat like down before he swings. It's really fun. So, Drew Burris, man, love you. Congratulations on a great season, and let's get that ACC tournament championship rolling to Omaha. Give Danny Hall NCAA World Series championship before he retires this year. Let's go. Go Tech. Go Tech.
The Ramblin' Wreck.
Yes. So many nicknames, so many little quippy nicknames for Georgia Tech. It's really weird, but Ramblin' Wreck came from way back when. This is a history lesson. They were supposed to take a train to Athens. The train broke down, and they kind of walked the rest of the way. And they came in, and because the train wrecked, the journalist that was covering the game called them the Rambling Wreck coming into Athens, Georgia. So that's where that name got its debut for Georgia Tech. A history lesson there for you if you're interested in Georgia Tech athletics for some reason. Now you know. Scotty, anything else to add before we get out of here?
I just want to say that it's easy, but my favorite Georgia Tech alum by far, Megatron.
Megatron. Let's go.
I love me some even.
I thought you were gonna say like Iman Shumpert since he helped the Cavs win a championship.
I did love him on too, but
I thought you were gonna go with the homie, the guy that won you a championship. Well, the guy that helped you win a championship.
He was great as well, but Megatron he was just so fun to watch.
So good. Too bad he went to Detroit and it killed his spirit for football.
Yeah.
Rough. He got Barry Sanders in Detroit. He got Barry Sanders, man. Never want to be Barry Sanders. And on that note, don't be Barry Sanders today. Make sure to go out and enjoy sports. I'm Anthony Hartwig. That's Scotty Mencher. It's looking like a yucky weather day, but running is still going to happen because they'll run through anything. So if you want to go to some track and field district championships, get out there tonight. Bring the umbrellas, bring the rain jackets, and see who can advance to the finals. If for some reason some softball or baseball gets played, best of luck to you out there. Brave the rain. Don't wear an umbrella because that's a lightning rod. You don't want that. And we'll hopefully get a couple of games in here and there, but I don't think we're gonna. I'm not a weatherman, but Andrew DiPaolo did not have a very great looking forecast today. It's all his fault. He controls the weather. I know it. Andrew, we love you out there, buddy. That'll do it for today's episode. We want to thank Rick Seipert for coming on and giving us his insight into track and field. Want to thank Scotty for always coming on every week, and we will see you all tomorrow. Me and DJ back at it, YSN Live on a Thursday. Don't miss it. Tomorrow at noon, as always. We'll see you then. Thanks for tuning in today. Enjoy your day. Scotty, may the sports be with you, buddy.
May the sports be with you as well.
YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of Your Sports Network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.